What's up, guys? This is E-House from Gun Gamers.
And I'm Amy.
And we are back with another episode of SpeedSim. And yes, hooray. And today we're going to talk about if you're newer to the game or if you're trying to help people get into the game. This topic actually, I think, helps as much for people trying to guide other people as it does for people who are actually looking for guidance themselves. How much is too much to spend immediately on Airsoft? And when you're spending money, being relatively new to Airsoft, what should you prioritize?
Yeah, so this is actually my topic because I had a lot of questions on how much I should spend on a high kappa. And I get these questions like every single day. And it got me thinking, I was like, how much do people actually think they need to spend on Airsoft? So that's why I thought we should make this video. Now, my number one thing above all else is eye protection.
Yep.
Above all else, like, do not skip on eye protection. I see this way too often. I work in a retail shop of my own, and I see kids and even adults who are brand new to the sport come in and they're like, what's the minimum requirement for eye protection? And I'm like, why is that even a question? You should always ask, what is the maximum you should have? Because you never want to skimp out on eye protection. $20 and they call it good. Now, I'm not...
Or they'll buy mesh.
Or, no,
Pet
mesh.
peeve of mine.
Yeah.
But,
no mesh is okay.
Yeah, no, we don't recommend mesh. Sorry, we don't.
It's not this channel.
Nope.
But now I'm not going to sit here and preach di-4s and virtue vials or anything like that. Most of you,
Although those are great options.
all those are amazing options, and if nothing else, you should probably pick up one of those if you're brand new, and that way you can see whether you like the sport even, and you don't ruin your face.
Or a lot of fields will rent them. Like you guys rent them here.
We rent them here. I'm not entirely sure who else actually rents them in the nation, but I'm sure that there are
If you're
some
a field
fields
watching this, you should get some for rentals. They're a really great idea.
I mean,
You'll probably sell a lot after you rent them out.
We do, in fact. Like a lot of people after they first time play, and they're like, oh, okay, I really want this mask. Because not only does it look cool, but you're super protected.
Yep, and they don't fog.
And yeah, it's great options. But what are some of your iPro options?
Oh yeah, because if you're looking more like, okay, well, maybe I want to get more into just eye pro, not face pro too. Now, face protection obviously is a great idea, especially if your local field requires it. But for eye protection, the bare minimum you should be getting is Z87 plus rated full seal goggles or glasses. But if you get glasses, get ones that have a band around the back that can retain them to your face.
Most fields will not allow you to go into the field if it doesn't have a band around the back.
Yep.
Now, I guess you can rectify that and put some sort of paracord around it. Personally, not my favorite opinion.
Nah, I don't like that. So if you want to know what you should spend all that Gucci money on, what you should look like a total operator with, it should be your eye protection, if nothing else.
Yeah, you don't technically need a vest or a belt or anything like that. As long as you have good eye protection, that's really what I usually preach a lot. Because people always skimp out on it.
Yep.
And then they get hurt, and they're like, why did I get hurt? Well, because you cheaped out on your glasses. That's why.
I have actually, at 48-hour games, Desolation, I have rolled with a set of eye protection that cost me more money than my gun and my satchel I was using as my load-bearing gear combined. And guess what? I had a good time at that game because I could see very well and my eyes were safe.
All right, so we went over eye protection. What is your next top thing that you would say not to skimp out on, or
Boots or footwear.
Yes.
If you're trying to think of, oh, what should I spend the most money on? Eye protection for safety, boots or footwear for comfort. And the best part about buying good boots is you can use them for more than just Airsoft. You can use them for hiking, work, any other kind of stuff. So definitely buy good, comfortable boots.
I want to jump off of that and say you need to work in your boots before you go play Airsoft.
Yes.
Or any extraneous situation you bring yourself, whether it's hiking or working or you're playing Airsoft. Make sure you work those boots in before you go out and play.
Yeah, you want boots that aren't going to give you blisters. You want boots that aren't going to destroy your feet with, just being super uncomfortable. And you want boots that you're going to want to wear. Again, let's say you step into 24 to 48 hour games. You're going to be wearing those boots that whole time. And if you can't wear your boots for more than 6 to 8 hours at a time, you're not going to have as much fun. And pair those with good socks.
Yes.
Good socks are very important. I recommend smart wool and merino wool socks. A lot of hiking socks are very good options.
If you're only playing indoor, sneakers are okay. There's not a lot of obstacles that you're going to find yourself in that you're going to twist your ankles on. However, I would say, buy some decent knee pads, because if you are going to play indoors, if you're going to slip and fall, there's nothing worse than slipping, falling on your knees.
Yep.
So again, like Eric said, good footwear. Like Nike has really good shoes, and you can buy Adidas or whatever. You know, anything that like supports your feet. And for indoor, it really doesn't matter. Boots is always recommended because that way you're not going to twist your ankles.
Yep.
But if you want to be light and fast, I mean, they do make other boots out there that are light. Like for instance, I have Under Armour Valsets. Those are super light.
I wear Merrells that are not super light, but they're very comfortable and waterproof.
Yeah, see, that's the other thing is mine are not waterproof, so that's why I have nice socks that are not going to be compromised if I do fall into some sort of water or mud situation. But again, for indoor, wear high socks. Don't wear ankle socks or anything like that. I made that mistake before. You get blisters on the Achilles heel, and that is the worst. Yeah. So make sure you wear like nice tube socks or something like that, something nice and high, so that when you are running around, your shoe isn't going to dig into your ankles and your Achilles heel, for instance. For that, that's not great. But again, like I said, make sure you pair that with good knee pads if you're going to play indoors. Because if you slip and fall on a BB, it hurts so bad.
Yep. All right. So next thing that you would prioritize spending money on?
Gloves.
Gloves. All right. So we're going very roundabout before even talking about guns, but there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
So, but gloves.
Gloves. I have seen so many instances, even on myself. If you do not wear gloves and you impact a BB even on your fingernail, it is the worst pain.
Got one right here.
Ever. It hurts so bad. And if you have gloves, if you have some sort of fabric between that and the BB, it's still going to hurt. I'm not going to lie to you, it still hurts, but it's not going to leave that.
I mean, it might still, but it lower.
I'm talking more like indoor.
That's true.
Indoor, it's a little bit different because you're only shooting like 350 FPS. Now, if it hits you in the right spot, it could blister like that.
Yeah.
But if you play
shit happens,
outdoor,
you're taking risks with airsoft all the time.
But gloves, again, like I mentioned, if you fall indoors on a BB and you have no protection on a BB, you can get it stuck in your hand. And I've seen that before. Some people have fallen and straight up got their BB stuck in their hand. Now, it's not like all the way through or anything, but it's still stuck and it hurts.
Yeah.
If gloves in between that, it works so much better and you're not going to get shot. Now, I would not go out and spend like $1 bazillion on gloves, but at least prioritize that before you do anything else. Because
Mechanics gloves are nice and cheap, but they work really well.
G&G has
which are actually OEM'd by Mechanics.
Correct. Yep. Yeah. There's a big Mechanics logo on them. That or even the Condor ones are also a great option. They have knuckle protection, which is always helpful because getting shot in the knuckle also sucks. Yeah.
I recommend personally the Mechanics gloves because I find that those are the most comfortable, the most flexible. And whatever gloves you buy, you're going to want gloves that you're going to want to wear. And I find that Mechanics often suits that role. And they're also very durable, which is something, that's a bone I have to pick with a lot of other gloves. I destroy everything I use if it's not durable.
Biggest couple of that is Valken.
Yeah, I've had problems with Valken gloves. I've also had problems with actually the SKD Tactical Pig gloves because those are meant to be, thin, very, tactile feeling gloves. But the issue I have with those is they're not durable, and if you're hard on them, they will break very quickly. I actually broke a set in one game. So, I would personally recommend sticking with Mechanics gloves. They're meant to be work gloves, and I think that they work very well for being airsoft gloves as well. Hence why so many people wear them. So a lot of you are probably already typing in the comments, yeah, no shit, my Mechanics. And to that I say, yes.
Well, obviously. Most people know that. That's why we have this video.
Yep.
Your next thing.
All right. My next thing that I would prioritize, okay, so we've talked about all the gear surrounding it. Next, I'm going to say your gun, but as importantly as your gun, your battery and charger and your BBs. Okay. So this is all the stuff you're probably going to buy at once, right? Most people when they buy a gun, they also need the battery, charger, and BBs.
Most of the time, when you do buy a new gun, you can get in two sets. You can get just a gun or a combo kit, or it comes with battery and charger. For 90% of the people that I've helped with who are brand new to the sport, you usually bought the battery and combo, or battery and charger combo. Yeah,
but what I would recommend, is if you're buying a battery and charger combo, make sure that it's a decent combo, because the combo kit you sell here is like the smart charger, right?
They're semi-smart. They're not like super smart. They're not like one of those big brick smart chargers, but it has an additional brick that prevents it from overheating.
Yeah, and it goes to trickle charging after it fully charges, which is what you want. You want a charger that will fully charge the battery at its full rate and then convert to trickle charging after it's done. That way you don't destroy your battery.
Or your carpet.
Yeah, or your carpet or anything else. And you also want to make sure you read how you're supposed to charge these batteries.
Oh my god, I cannot tell you how many times people are like, oh, do you charge the LiPo with the Tamiya connector? No.
Yeah, no, you charge it through, you either need to charge it through the balancing port alone, depending on what charge you have, or you need to plug in the Tamiya and the balancer, and that'll charge it. I personally just have still used one of those cheapo Tenergy smart chargers that just charges through the balancer.
Yep.
But buy decent LiPos or lithium ion. A lot of us have been using the Titan batteries lately. I know there's people who have varying opinions on whether or not those are as good as the hype. I can't speak on all that. I'm not a battery expert. All I can say is from using them, I've had good luck with them, and they are very simple and very idiot-proof, which I, as a professional idiot, I very much appreciate. So I've been using those. I would recommend those to a beginner, because a beginner is unlikely to have the type of highly tuned gun that's going to need more juice than those output. But yeah, definitely try those out if you're looking to getting into a lithium pack, or if you're going to buy a different lithium pack, buy something decent. Tenergy makes pretty good lithium batteries. Firefox lithiums are pretty good. Then you get like the Elite Force and Valken branded ones.
I've not had any issues with Elite Force or Valken. We use them to rent with, and I use them personally. I use the Valken ones for my guns. But then again, I don't use electric all that often. So, on the rare occasion when I do go to operations with these guys, I do usually run some sort of a battery-powered gun. Yeah,
so it's, those ones are not going to be as high-end as, some of the other options, but
they're relatively
just RC LiPos are another good way to do it, because honestly, RC LiPos are better than Airsoft LiPos, so you can get a lot of those. But buy a smart charger and a good battery so that you have something that's going to last all day through play. And I'd recommend buying an extra battery just in case your battery craps out on you, just in case it dies, and so you can not be done playing for the day.
Especially, biggest case, wintertime.
Yes, especially in the wintertime, because the cold drains the hell out of your batteries. We actually, remember, we were doing that BB test, and a battery just sitting out in the cold, not even shot, it sat in the cold for like 2 hours and was dead when we went to use it.
Exactly.
Next, BBs.
Yes.
I cannot tell you how many times someone has spent hundreds of dollars on a gun and, done all this stuff to it, and then they go and they buy the cheapest, crappiest BBs and put them through their gun and have bad luck with them, or break their gun, or jam up their magazines, jam up their barrel. It baffles me. So, on the note of BBs, definitely pick up good quality BBs. They're really not as expensive as you think. Again, if you just bought a good gun, you should be able to spend the money on good BBs. Yeah. So I would recommend, getting good quality BBs. And I recommend getting heavier BBs. Now, some fields don't allow heavier BBs.
They do not.
But,
which makes me really sad, but...
Yeah, I think that's a little silly. I have my own opinions on that, which we can discuss in another video. But get as heavy of BBs as your gun will lift is my recommendation. Because I see all the time, new players will buy 0.2 gram BBs because, that's what everyone chronos in. They go the fastest. That's the best, right? No. No. We have videos on this channel demonstrating why that's not the best.
Yes.
I would recommend at least 2.5 or 2.8 gram BBs. Yes. I personally run 3.2s. Those can be a little more expensive to get big quantities of, but if you can get 2.8s, I think that's a good all-around BB weight for most uses. That's still very affordable to get. Luckily, heavier weights are becoming more affordable, but it's still, you're playing the waiting game. But I would recommend getting good quality heavyweight BBs from a brand or a company that makes good BBs. We've had good experience with Elite Force, G&G,
Crytek.
Crytek BBs are good. I've had good luck with BLS and HPA. There's all kinds of good brands out there. I would skip Crosman. I've heard mixed things on Lancer BBs. Kyle's had okay luck with them, but some other people haven't. I'm inclined to be biased because their bottle looks like a Scotch bottle, and I think that's hilarious. But then there's Valken BBs,
which
so many people say they have good luck with them, and I've not. I think it varies batch to batch almost, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's a very 50-50 mix there.
I think there's one factory that made Valken BBs that was really bad, and there's one that's okay. I think it's the Chinese or Hong Kong made Valken BBs that were the bad ones, and then the Taiwanese made ones have been okay.
Yeah.
But, you know,
still not the best.
Yeah, I mean, they still jammed up my box mag in my Crytek LMG, which no other BBs did. So
yeah.
But yeah, that's stuff that I would keep in mind. Definitely buy those. And then we get to the gun finally.
Yes, finally, the thing that you've probably been waiting for the most is the actual gun.
Yeah.
Now, personally, I would always say go with an AEG. If you're starting out, don't worry about what everybody else is running. I know a lot of you indoor players, they see these Gucci high kappas or these crazy Polar Stars. That's okay. Like, you can still do good as long as you practice. You don't need a great gun from the start, from the get-go. Because if you're new and you don't like it, then you're going to be out tons of money, especially if you go like the high kappa route.
Yeah.
And I know it's okay. It's fine. Like, don't worry about what they're using. Worry about yourself and see if you even like the sport. And then worry about getting to even gas. Because gas has its own issues when you're first starting out. Because if you don't know anything, no one is willing to help you 90% of the time. There is a 10% chance that somebody's going to sit down and tell you. But other than looking it up on YouTube, you're going to have no idea what you're doing. So just stick with the AEGs. And now my personal brand is G&G. If you just buy a good gun, like even the combat machines, they have been known to work for years.
Yeah, the old school combat machines without the ETU in them are bulletproof. Yeah. There's a reason they're still the rental go-to. Mm-hmm. They work very well. I'm sure there'll be plenty of people in the comments saying, oh, combat machines are crap. Okay, you've been playing for a long time. You have your reasons for thinking combat machines are crap because you've been playing for a long time. If you're handing a new gun to a new player,
they're not going to know the difference.
Yeah, they're not going to know the difference. The combat machines are pretty darn good. Then there's various other beginner brands. I recommend Cyma, CYMA AKs.
Good for AKs.
Yeah, if you want an AK, I would get a CYMA. I'm not as big a fan of some of their other guns, but the AKs are very, very good for the money. Mm-hmm. And the nice part about, starting off with something as basic as a basic M4 or a basic AK is you can do a lot with them down the road.
You can tailor them to however you want down the line. You can even Polar Star it.
Yeah, that's part of why I was very critical of like the Tippmann Commando series guns, because you're not able to swap the rail systems on them or anything, because that makes it less flexible as you're going forward in the game. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, fine, it's a solid enough gun internally, but you can't do as much to it as you evolve in the game. I ran a combat machine. I'd already been playing for a long time, but I bought a combat machine because it was a cheap backup, and I ended up running that as like my primary gun for a few years, and I used that at my first Milsim game I ever went to.
I started off, my starting is totally different, but as I got later, I still bought a combat machine. Yeah. And still ran for years.
Yeah. And they're good upgrade platforms. Yes. There's things you can do to them.
They accept a lot of good parts.
Yeah. I'm not as much a fan of a lot of the ETU-based G&G AEGs. I've had issues with their reliability, and I know enough people who have had issues with their reliability that I find it hard to recommend those wholeheartedly. The ARP9 is very popular, though.
And but that also uses the ETU.
Yeah, but the ETU may be getting better. My information might be outdated. That's the thing with all of our videos and all of our information is everything's a time capsule. Mm-hmm. So my information might be outdated. It might be better. Talk to more people than us about that. We have idiots on the internet. Exactly. 2 idiots on the internet aren't going to give you a for sure answer. But if you have a little more money to spend, I don't think it's a bad idea. Now, first of all, we didn't even mention this, but before you buy anything, I would recommend renting or borrowing gear from friends for at least like
a couple months.
Yeah, a couple of months, like 3 to 5 games. And if you still, after doing that for like 3 to 5 games, really want a gun and really want to play, dope. Or if you're sure that you're going to be into this game and you think that you're not going to have wasted the money, awesome. Buy whatever you want. But
so after renting, make sure you do your research while you're playing, so that way you have a better idea on what you actually want. I see this all the time. People come into the shop and they've done no research and they just ask for my personal opinion. No. I've been playing for so many years. Like, my opinion is so skewed that I have to remind myself to put myself in their position. Yeah. So please do your research before you go to any shop, so that way they can help you a little bit more better than us two on this internet. Yeah,
I would definitely try to talk to as many people in real life as possible. Now, also make sure they're people who know what they're doing. Yeah. Which
if you see their guns breaking it down all the time, probably not.
Yeah, maybe don't listen to them if their guns are always breaking. But start off with a solid dependable gun, cheap options, the Combat Machine series and the Cyma AKs. I'd actually say the Cyma AKs are solid starters, period.
Yeah.
But also then you get into people say, okay, well, what if I want a Crytek or a VFC right out of the gate? And I would say if you're pretty sure that you're going to be into this game and that that's the gun you want, go for it.
I would say use it first, see if somebody's got it, and see if you can use it for a game and see if that's what you want to go to, because they're fairly expensive.
Yes.
Even the Alpha series are, they're up there.
$250, $260.
Yeah, depending on where you look. So make sure you actually use one, see if that's what you want.
Yeah, so that's the thing, is you really want to make sure that you make a gun decision that's well informed, you've done your homework on it, you've done your research, as something that you will be able to build upon later.
Correct.
Because you don't want your starter gun to be something that hey, I bought this gun, and now as I'm getting more into the game, and now as I'm going forward, I can't do anything with it.
It's like a KWA. It has the same problem. Hop-up units. Can't get those.
Yeah, it's a real pain when you can't get parts or something and you want to keep on using it. And so make sure that you buy something that you can build on later. That's what I think makes a good starter gun.
Right. Now, lastly, you wanted to talk about gear.
Oh, yeah, I did. I did want to mention gear, because that's the thing. Everyone says, to start Airsoft, I need goggles. Yeah, I need goggles, I need a vest, and I need a gun.
Yeah.
And we talked about some other stuff you need rather than that.
Yeah.
But now let's talk about the vest bit. Yeah. So I started Airsoft, as I'm sure many of you did, as I'm sure many of you are considering, with a one-piece cross-draw tactical vest. Oh, cross-draws. So cool, right? Show up in movies all over the place where the prop master has no idea about gear.
But they look dope.
Oh, they look so dope. Those holsters never lose the guns out of them.
No, the mags are always there.
Those mags never fall out. Yeah. When it comes to getting a vest or a piece of load-bearing gear, get something that you can build on later.
Yes.
As I just talked about with guns, same goes for gear. I'm not saying you need to rush out and your first year of playing buy a Mayflower APC.
Or a Spiritus chest rig.
Yeah, or a Spiritus chest rig. Though those are great options if you have the money and you feel so inclined. But you should get something that you can use for a variety of purposes and that you can build to suit a variety of games and a variety of guns. You don't want to have a piece of gear that is only useful for one thing, unless you're trying to specialize into some kind of impression, which maybe you are, but most beginners aren't. I would recommend
my
getting some kind of modular chest rig or modular plate carrier.
My option on that one is the HSGI micro chest rig. It's ITW 1-inch compatible, so it works with flat packs if you want to later on get one of that. It works with a lot of things, and it's customizable. Now, you do have to buy pouches additionally, so that is one of the things that you're going to have to invest in, but again, it's a great option for later on down the road.
Yeah, I also am a big fan of the Tactical Tailor Mav. Now, a lot of people will hear me say Tactical Tailor for beginners. Here's the thing. The Mav chest rig is you can get it for $50 or $60. If you get it on sale, you can get it for 40. Yeah. So it's a $40 US-made, high-end, premium all-molly chest rig that, granted, doesn't have the buckles so it can integrate a backpack or anything, but you can put anything on it that you want. You can put Condor pouches on there if you want to save money.
They're super
you could,
cheap.
Pantac pouches, Phantom pouches, Tactical Tailor pouches even.
Some of those Matrix pouches.
Yeah, some of the pouches from real companies. If you shop on eBay and look at military surplus stores, you can get some good gear for cheap.
Yeah.
So I would recommend buying something that's durable that you can build upon later. Another good example of something like this would be, let's say you want a plate carrier to start. Now, a lot of the replica plate carriers aren't that great, but even if you bought, say, a replica JPC, the reason that you might get that instead of the cross-draw is the manufacturing quality is pretty similar. If you're getting a JPC that's priced the same as a cross-draw, it's probably not a spectacularly high-quality carrier, but you can still build on it.
Yeah.
And there's still stuff you can do with it. Like I said, though, I personally recommend, chest rigs a little bit more, especially, though, if you get a chest rig, even if you get, like, a clone D3CR.
Yeah, super cheap. Like I have on my Instagram. It's like $40 shipped.
Yeah, you can get clone D3CRs and clone gear, and I personally don't buy clone gear, but I've been in the game for a really long time and have my own personal reasons for not buying clone gear. If you're just getting into the game, you're trying to see if you like it, you're trying to see if you like this kind of gear, maybe buying a clone D3CR, and then as you get more into the game, you can add stuff onto it. You can integrate it onto a plate carrier. You can integrate a flat pack with it. You can integrate backpacks with it. You can integrate the expansion options with it. Or you could even decide, I like this configuration so much, I want to buy the real one, which
is great.
Yeah, if you buy a real D3CR, I would wager you will not kill that in the course of your airsoft career.
Or ever.
Yeah, or ever, really.
Most of the people besides Aaron probably haven't killed it.
I haven't killed mine. Yeah.
Yet.
It's not dead. So yeah, those are some of the things that I would consider, when you're talking about buying gear. Just stuff that you can change up later if you decide you want to. And don't spend a whole lot of money that's going to end up being wasted, because with gear, you often never get that money back. No one wants to pay full price for your sweaty, beat up replica gear. You're going to lose at least 80% of what you put into
definitely.
that. Mm-hmm. Especially if it breaks, which it might.
And same goes with guns. If you paint it, you're not getting all that money back.
No, you're not getting that money back to start with. No one cares if you put a bunch of upgrades into it.
Yeah.
You're not getting the upgrades back.
No.
So, make sure that whatever you're doing, you're okay with doing. I would say go slow.
Very slow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take your time. Make sure you buy the right stuff.
Yeah. And I would actually say, buy a satchel. I have my reasons. Buy a satchel. But yeah, go slow with what you buy. Go slow with what you do. Go try to resist the urge to get too excited, I would say. And where it's like, oh yeah, I want to do this upgrade, this upgrade, this upgrade, and this upgrade all immediately before you really know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Both of us have certainly been guilty of that.
Oh boy.
So you end up killing guns doing that. So go slow.
Very slow. Now, I know that we haven't put a number behind this.
No.
Because it's very relative. Everyone's budget is wildly different.
Yeah.
So this is just our personal opinion on what you should think about before you put money behind it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Everyone's going to want a number. But realistically speaking, one number will be perfect for one person, and that number might be too high or too low for another person. Yeah. It's so relative with everyone's budget. I know that everyone, we have our big boy jobs. We have all of, some of us have families to consider, wives, girlfriends,
Moms.
travel, other hobbies, things that you need to consider. So everyone's budget is personal, but where you're allocating that budget should be done intelligently and prioritized properly so that you get the most out of what you're spending.
Yeah, and just don't take our advice. We're just, again, two idiots on the internet.
Yes.
Make sure you do your research. Ask local people.
Multiple sources.
At your field who use the gear that you want to buy, and see how they like it and see if that's something you want to consider getting.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend that. Try to get as much information as possible, as much data as possible, and make intelligent decisions from there. I know there's a lot of purchases. I wish I'd done that before I made them, so hopefully you can avoid the same mistakes.
All right, guys. We hope this video was very informative. Once again, my name is Amy.
And I'm E-House.
And thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Peace. Thank you for watching this video from Gun Gamers. We hope you enjoyed watching it as much as we enjoyed making it. Check the description below if you'd like to buy a t-shirt or a patch, and use the coupon code JUDY10 for 10% off of your next order at Amped Airsoft. Thank you again for watching, and praise Judy.
This has gone into very preachy of eye protection.
Yeah, well, you know what? I will always preach about eye protection.
I agree.
Maybe I'll probably cut some of this down a little bit, but it's good info to have. Yeah, no, I will beat this into the fucking ground. Wear your eye protection. Wear your eye protection. My fist would hurt less if you were wearing your eye protection.